Texas A&M falls to Hot Rod Rodrigo Blankenship by a final score of 19-13. Listen, it's late in the season. I'm done getting on here after games like this and faking like we dominated a team and laughing and all that blah blah blah. This offense is a fucking joke. There's nothing else to say about it. This is probably the most frustrating season of me being a Georgia fan that I can remember in a long, long time. There's been plenty of seasons where we were way worse than this overall. But to watch this defense go out week in and week out and absolutely shut down every single team we play. And that's what they've done every single week. Just to watch the offense come out and struggle like a retard trying to learn a foreign language just to get a first down, or you get to the opponent's side of the field and you just settling for field goals, and it's not just one game. And people are going to say, well, Texas A&M is a good team. Their only losses are to, Auburn, LSU, Clemson, and Bama, whatever. And I get that, but the problem is you idiots say that every single week. I mean, we look like shit against Kentucky, and oh, well, it's raining. You look like shit against Auburn, oh, well, Auburn's got a pretty good defense. You look like shit against South Carolina, oh, well, everybody just had their one bad game. You barely score against Florida and kick nothing but field goals against Florida, and people say, well, shut up, it's a win over Florida. This offense isn't even good. Forget great, and there are some great offenses. Look in the top four. The other three teams in the top four all have them. LSU, Clemson, and Ohio State. Now, LSU's defense is complete garbage and doo-doo. LSU's defense is as bad as Georgia's offense is. But you look at Clemson and Ohio State, those are two complete teams. This offense is not going to compete with that. It's just not. This offense is terrible. And it's just hard to imagine week 11 or 12 that some switch is going to come on. Now, I'm an idiot, blind Georgia homer, so I still think it's possible that it can happen. But, Jake Fromm, you just can't count on Jake Fromm. It's unfortunate, but it just is what it is. How many good games has Fromm played this year? 1? 2? I mean, he was under 50% again today. People are going to say it was raining. It was raining in dozens of football games today. There were plenty of quarterbacks that found a way to complete passes. The first quarter, Georgia had 11 yards in the first quarter of this game. We had 2 yards in the fourth quarter last week against Auburn. So back-to-back quarters, we had 2 yards against Auburn, 11 yards in the first quarter against A&M. It's just painful to watch, and it's frustrating because this defense is title-worthy. I would put this defense up against anybody's in America. I think this is the best defense in America, but this offense is just abysmal. It's absolutely pitiful, and it starts and stops with Jake Fromm. He's a third-year starting quarterback. And you're supposed to want and look forward to having veterans at key positions for a lot of different reasons, leadership. But they're supposed to make people around them better, and Fromm can't do that. You just can't count on Fromm. You can't. This philosophy that Kirby has seemed to have adopted of let's go out there and play the best defense in America and try to hang on and win every game by 6 points, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I'll be happy to be proved wrong. No, I mean, I hate being wrong. I'll be happy to be proved wrong in this case, though. But the offense that I've seen week in and week out this year for the Georgia Bulldogs is not winning anything of significance. They're not. And like I said, it's a shame because this defense deserves to win something. And the offense is holding them back. And to a certain degree, Kirby Smart and James Coley, too. James Coley better not have a job in Athens next season. I don't care what happens the rest of from here on out. He's terrible. He has no business being an offensive coordinator. Kirby's going to have to get his shit together. He's making a lot of the same mistakes some other defensive-minded head coaches that I can think of off the top of my head have made, and it's being too controlling over the offense, way too conservative. A lot of the things Kirby Smart does from a philosophy standpoint just doesn't make any sense at all. It's painful to watch this offense. Everything this offense tries to do is a struggle, and that's a shame because it's not a talent issue. We're probably never going to have a more talented offense than we have right now. Multiple 5-star wide receivers, multiple 5-star running backs, multiple 5-star offensive linemen, and a 4-star quarterback in his third year as a starter who honestly looks worse to me today than he did his freshman year in 2017. I have a hard time watching this game and trying to find anything positive to say about the offense. It was pitiful. It was just pitiful. Swift is a beast. He's my new favorite player. Did y'all see him getting Fromm's ass there at the end of that game? We need to see more of that. This sucking Fromm off, and Kirby is guilty of this too, and that's part of the reason why Jake Fromm is the starting quarterback at the University of Georgia and not Eason or Fields, is because him and Fromm are boys. They're buddies. They're backwoods country boys that can talk about hunting and fishing and shit. That's part of the reason Fromm is the quarterback and not one of those other two immensely more talented quarterbacks. That's part of the reason. The other reason is that Kirby has no interest in the other two quarterbacks because they're elite game-changing, playmaking QBs. In the case of Eason, he's got an all-world arm. Yeah, he's going to make some mistakes because he thinks he can make every throw, but he's going to make a lot of he's going to throw a lot of touchdown passes for you too. But Kirby doesn't want that. He wants a do boy. That's what Fromm is. And anyway, I'm not getting into that. It's a good win. It is still a good win. Listen, this is our last hurdle, sort of, before LSU. No offense to Georgia Tech. I'll take plenty of time next week offending them, so I don't mean that to do that now. But they're not going to compete with Georgia next week. We'll run over them. Hell, we may finally score over 30 points. Can you imagine? We may actually score over 30 points next week. Wouldn't that be something? You know, Georgia's offense has only scored over 30 points against one Power 5 team this entire year. One. Only one Power 5 team has Georgia's offense managed to score over 30 points, and that was Tennessee. So we scored exactly 30 against Vandy way back in week 1 after we didn't score any touchdowns in the second half against something called Vandy. Scored exactly 30, and then we scored 43 on Tennessee. We haven't come close to that against any other Power 5 team. Not Notre Dame, not Florida, not Missouri, not Kentucky, not South Carolina, not Auburn, not Texas A&M, but we may do it against Georgia Tech. Wouldn't that be something? An offensive explosion next week for Georgia. May even get into the 30s. Man, I can't wait. Have a great day.